to share two pieces of writing with you. This first poem was inspired by time spent in the solo field and by our field trip to Mass Landing. I'm portraying that there is much to observe if you take the time to watch and listen. There is a sense of stillness from human activity in the woods. There is so much life there, but it is a delicate place too. This is the ballroom. On the outskirts of the wood, I hear a series of guttural caws, an urgent cry, and, softer than a distant train's whistle, lighter than a bell, a pair of high-pitched, tiptoeing chirps are strung periodically. I hear a waterfall of wind, a cascading music, and the birches, the hemlocks, the pines, they can't help but sway. The sun hurries to string up the lights, and as the crowded ballroom illuminates, and the guests murmur with anticipation, I watch. I begin to see the birches with masks of monochrome, the hemlocks wearing wrinkled dresses of sepia, the white pines bearing feathery fans and slender, scaly earrings. They are all waiting on the dance floor. They are all waiting for that natural and beautiful music. They are not waiting for the rumble of a motor or the low hum of a far-off engine. And the longer I stand here, the easier it becomes to imagine the world, this place, as it might have been before. My second piece was inspired by the prompt, I remember a time when. It is titled, A Forgotten Island. I remember a time when life wasn't such a challenge. Time didn't fly by, and my daily view was only 3 feet high. I look straight ahead into the distance now, where a stark ocean stares back at me apathetically. But when I was little, it was easier to really see things around me. My understanding of the world may have been limited, but who is to say I didn't see more? The ladybugs crawling on swaying fronds of thick grass, the muddy footprints, the forgotten toys, the fuzzy dust bunnies under the couch, the crispy tumbling leaves of autumn. I remember that I saw the world differently, but I don't know when that changed. When did I start to focus on what is far ahead as opposed to what is close, the more important details of each day? How do I open my eyes and focus again? I remember a time when life was simple, at least compared to life now. I remember when the majority of weekends weren't bogged down by homework, responsibilities, and worries for the uncertain future. I remember vivid, bright days, crisp and green, the smell of spring. I would pull out a patchwork blanket and spread it over the tender green grass. I would bring my stuffed animals, maybe a book. I would lay there and read, watch the swirling blue sky, keep the ants from crawling onto my little island. I would rest as my mom and dad fertilized the garden, cleaned the cars, mowed the lawn, organized life around me. Why did this stop? Why do I keep my animals alone on a dusty chair in the corner of my room? When did my ritual of welcoming spring come to an end? I don't even remember. Maybe it's because I started to do the spring chores. Maybe my parents slowed down too. I want so desperately to go back, to grab a blanket and a book. It's something that I never knew I missed. I never knew that it was important until I was so far away from both my open-minded innocence and my home in Vermont. The simplest things are easily lost, but now that I've realized it, I hope to reclaim them for my own.